Hello and welcome to this session on statistics. In this session, we are going to have brief introduction to statistics. So what is statistics? Statistics is the science of collecting, organizing, analyzing and interpreting data. So here basically we learn how to collect data, different process, different ways to collect the data, then how to organize the collected data and how to analyze the data and as well as how to interpret or derive some meaning out of the data. So statistics is one of the most important and core part of data science as well as machine learning, because data science and machine learning involves working around with data, so that's where statistics comes into picture. So first thing within statistics is to understand if a problem statement is statistical or not. So when we have a problem statement or any kind of question, first thing we have to figure out is if it is a statistical question or not. So a question where you can expect to get a variety of answers and you are interested in the distribution and tendency of those answers can be termed as a statistical question or statistical problem statement. So in any problem statement, if we can get a variety of answers or we are interested in the distribution or the tendency of those answers, then we can term it as statistical question. So here one more thing to note is don't get confused with a statistical question and a survey question. So survey question can be a direct answer or a direct question, so which has some direct answer, but statistical question can have a variety of answers. Now to look into the difference between statistical question versus non-statistical question. So a statistical question had answers that will probably vary, whereas a non-statistical answer probably remains the same. So to take few examples, suppose the problem is problem statement. The question is, what time did the students in this class get up this morning? So here it's talking about this particular question or statement is talking about what time did the students in this class. So it's like all the students in the class get up this morning. So here basically this is a statistical question. The other one is saying what time did I get up this morning. So it is talking about a single person. So this is a non-statistical because this will have only one single generic answer. But when you look at the previous statement, it can have variety of answers. So that's where whenever we have a variety of answer, we can term it as a statistical question. Similarly, few other examples are there, like how many votes did the winning candidate for president of the student body receive in each of the past 20 years? So here it's talking about past 20 years data. So we'll be having 20 years records. So this is also a statistical question. And non-statistical would be how many votes did the winning candidate for the student body receive this year. So this will be just a generic answer will be there for this particular statement. So this will be non-statistical. The other one is what were the highest temperatures in all of India's state capital this summer? So this is also a statistical question, because here it is asking about what were the highest temperature in all of India's states. So there will be multiple states capital. So there are there will be multiple values or uh, multiple answers here. So we can say this is nothing but a statistical question. Non-statistical would be what was the highest temperature in Bangalore this summer. So it's just talking about a generic problem statement or a generic question. So here there will be only one single answer to this. So this is non-statistical. So this is how we can figure out if something is statistical or not, by looking at the problem statement or the question and by understanding if we can have a variety of answers or if the answer is going to be same. So now here is one example. It is asking this question, what is the weight of mice? So this is a question we have, what is the weight of mice? So is this a statistical question? So answer would be yes, because the weight of mice would vary. So mice is plural for mouse, so there will be multiple mouse and the weight of each of the mouse will vary. So this is a statistical problem statement or a statistical question. So here it has given us a question saying display the data in a dot plot, identify any clusters, peaks or gaps. So these are very important observation which we can observe within the data set, that is cluster or if there is any peak or gap. By observing these three things, we can answer a lot of things within the data set. So first thing, whenever we have a data set, first thing what we can do is we can plot it in graphs. So there are multiple types of graphs, like which we have understood from data visualization. So we can use different types of graph with respect to the data what we have, and we can analyze the data and figure out this kind of answers. So first what we'll do, we'll just take this data set and we'll try to do a dot plot, and we'll see like we'll try to identify cluster, peak and gap, and we'll see what kind of answers are we getting by identifying these three things. So I'll take the data set. Data set is this weight of mouse in grams. So this is our data set. So we have a data set now. We can call it as data set of data. And here we have around 20 values, that is 4 columns and 5 rows. So we have around 20 values, and all the weight of mouse is given in grams. So we have all the weight in grams. So within this we have to identify three things, that is cluster, peak or gap. So we have to identify three things here: peak, cluster and gap. So if there is any peak, cluster or gap. So first thing what we'll be doing here is we'll be plotting this data in a graph. So first we'll be plotting this in a graph. So first we'll just plot a line. So this is our x-axis. Okay, so I'll plot a different one. This doesn't look good. So first thing is we have to plot a straight line. So I'll just plot a simple line here. So this is suppose our line. This is our axis saying x-axis. So we'll just name it as weight in grams. So here like we have to see the weight. So weight we can see the minimum value here is 18 and the maximum value within this data set is 28. So we can just take those values saying 18, then the next one is 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 and 28. So we have these all values within the data set. So now we have to plot a dot plot. So it says to plot a dot plot. So how to do a dot plot? So it's like just putting the dots based on the count of each of the value. So here, like if we look at the data, we have around 218 values. So we can put two dots on top of 18. So this is how dot plot is plotted. Similarly, we will be doing for the other values. So if you look at here 19, so we have around 3 values in 19. So we'll put 3 dots here. Similarly, at 20, we have around 6 values in 20, so there will be 6 dots. Similarly, at 21, we have around 4 values, so there will be 4 dots. And 22, we have only one value, so there will be 1 dot. And in 23 also we have only single value. And then 24, 25, 26 there are no values. And again in 27 we have 2 values. And in 28 we have one single value. So now this is how a dot plot looks like. So now here first thing is to see like if we have got the right amount of dot or not. So we have 20 values. So if you count the dot, it should be 20. So we have 12, 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we have total 20 values here within the graph. So now first thing is to find out the peak. First thing we have to answer is if there is any peak within the data. So peak is nothing but here, like we can see within this graph, there is a peak at 20. So we can see the peak is at 20. So I'll just write it down here saying peak is at 20. So what does peak tells us? So peak is telling us like what is the most frequent observation within the data set. So we can say the most frequent observation within the data set is nothing but 20. So we can say that most of the mouse the most frequent weight of the mouse is nothing but 20. So this is the most frequent observation within the data set. That's what peak tells us. The next one is cluster. So cluster is nothing but a group of data together. Okay, so a group of data is called as cluster. So when we have a lot of data grouped together, we can call it as a cluster. So here we see a lot of data grouped together, that is from 18 to 23, or we can say 22 or 23. We have a lot of data grouped together. So we can say this is our cluster. So cluster is from 18 to 23, or we can say 22 also, because after 22 it's just single value getting repeated, so we can take 22 as well. So here we can say this is our cluster, a group of data are falling together. The other one is gap. So gap, here we see a gap within the data, that is from 23 to 27. Between 23 to 27 we have a gap, so we'll just write it down saying gap is between 23 to 27. So we see in between 23 to 27 there is a gap. So gap can tell us if there is any more data, any more cluster, or if there is any outlier. Okay, outliers are like data or observations which are very unique from the actual observation, actual group of data. Those are like outliers. So if you have very small amount of data which is far from the actual cluster, we can call it as outlier. So we can say here like 27, 28, these are nothing but some outliers. Sometimes there might be some different cluster also. Suppose we have lot of values like within the gap, like after the gap we have lot of values. We can say it's a different species of mouse, okay, where we see different kind of weights like that. So this is how we can analyze the data by plotting the data in a graph. So usually the first step, whenever there is a data, the first step is to plot the data in a graph and do data visualization and understand and gather more information about the data. So this is how we were able to analyze the data, that is weight of mouse in grams. Now there is one more problem statement. Here it says the following dot plot shows the height of each toddler at Miss Nandita's daycare. Each dot represents a different toddler. So now here we have around 15 dots. So there are around 15 toddlers here in Miss Nandita's daycare. So the question here is, what is the most frequent height of a toddler? So we can see here clearly saying peak is at 84, so that will be the most frequent height. So we can say 84 centimeter is the most frequent height of a toddler. The next question is, how many toddlers are there? So we can just count of the dots, so it is 15, so we can say 15 toddlers are there in Miss Nanita's daycare. The other question is, write a statistical question you can answer using the dot plot, then answer that question. So this is a very important point in statistics. What happens in statistics is we have to formulate our own questions with respect to the problem statement what we are trying to study. So based on the context of what we are trying to study, we have to formulate our own questions. So usually what we do, like suppose we have data and we have to figure out few answers from that. So we have to first note down, okay, what are the different types of questions which we can ask to the data, and we have to write those questions. And one by one, we should be able to answer those by analyzing the data. So to analyze the data, first thing is we can put the data in graph and we can find out a lot of answers within the graph. So earlier also what we did is like that mouse example, we just took the data and plotted it in a graph, and we figured out so many answers. We are able to get so many insights from the data just by putting the data in graph. So here also the same thing, like whenever we have any data set, first thing is to plot it in a graph and try to answer or get meaningful insights from the data. So now coming to basic terminologies in statistics. So there are few terminologies which you will be coming across in most of the time in statistics. So these are few terminologies, that is population, sample, parameter, statistic, variable, and experiment. So now we will understand by taking some example, we will understand all of this one by one. So here suppose I'll take one example of saying box of chocolates. Suppose we have a box of chocolates. So there are like different types of chocolates here. we have a box of chocolates. So here, suppose I'll say this is a box having different types of chocolates. So we'll just name what all chocolates are there. Suppose I'll say there is some dairy milk chocolate. Okay, suppose there are 3 dairy milk chocolates. Similarly, there are some other chocolates like chocolate brands are like Kit Kat. Some other chocolates like Kit Kat, we have like 4, 5. Then gems, we have like 2, 3 gems or 4 gems. And we have some other chocolates like Ferrero, and we have Snickers and all. So like this, we have a box of chocolates. In this, we have different types of chocolates. So here, first thing is like if we look at this box, we have so many chocolates within this. So this is a box of chocolate. So this complete set of data what we have right now. So we can term each of these as one data. Saying Dairy Milk 1 is one data, Dairy Milk 2 is one data. So each of these are different records within our data set. So this is our complete set of data or data set. So this is called as population. So population is nothing but complete set of data element is called as population. So it's like complete set of data. You can also call it as data set, your entire data set. That is a population. Now within this, suppose I am only interested in one type of chocolate, that is dairy milk. So now here dairy milk is nothing but it will be a sample. So we can term it as a sample. So sample is a subset of population of interest selected further for analysis. So here we are just taking this data, like we are just picking this subset of data, subset of population, and we are going to analyze this. So I am interested to go with dairy milk chocolate, to test dairy milk chocolate, or I am interested to study this dairy milk chocolate. So here this will be my sample. So sample is nothing but a subset of population which we have selected for analysis. So now here within population, like if we look at this population data, like all these chocolates, those chocolates will have some characteristic. So those characteristic of population are called as parameter. So characteristic of population is called as parameter. So parameter is nothing but like if you look at these chocolates, we can say all these chocolates are made with cocoa, milk, like that. So those are like certain characteristic with respect to all these chocolates. So that will be called as a parameter. And the next one is sample characteristics. So now if you look at a sample, sample also got his characteristics. So here it's like sample will have the same characteristic of population as well as it will have its own characteristic. So here those characteristics are called as statistic. Okay, statistic. So statistic is nothing but characteristic of sample, and parameter is nothing but characteristic of population. So statistic without an s, this is what like you should note. Like when like we write statistic with an s, then it will be it is nothing but the study of data, and here statistic is nothing but the characteristic of sample. So here like if you look at dairy milk might be having its own characteristic as compared to the other chocolates. So that is called as statistic, sample characteristic. So these are few terms within our statistics. The other terms are there is something called as experiment here. So experiment is nothing but a planned activity which whose result will yield as a set of data, that is an experiment. And the other one is variable. So variable is also a very important factor here within the terminologies of statistics. Now variable is the characteristic of each individual element within a population or a sample. Now here if I say dairy milk 1 might be having its own characteristics. Suppose dairy milk 1 has got some extra toppings, nuts, and some extra ingredient as compared to dairy milk 2. So now here each of them are supposed different from one another. So then this is nothing but variable. So variable, as the name says, like which can vary. So variable is characteristic of each individual element. Okay, so we can say characteristic of each individual element. This is called as variable. This is called as variable. Variable is characteristic of each individual element within a population or a sample. So these are a few important terminologies: population, sample, parameter, statistic, variable, and experiment. Now to summarize, population is the complete set of data element. Sample is a subset of population, that is a portion or part of the population of interest selected further for analysis. Parameter is a characteristic of a population. Statistic is a characteristic of a sample. Variable is characteristic about each individual element of a population or a sample. And experiment is a planned activity whose result will give us a set of data. So now to look into population versus samples. Meaning wise, we can say population refers to the collection of all elements, and sample is a subgroup or members of the population selected for participation within the study. And population includes each and every unit of the group of data, and sample includes only a handful of units of population. And characteristic wise, population characteristic is called as parameter, and sample characteristic is called as statistic. And example, like if we take all people with diabetes in the Bangalore city, so that is a population, and within that suppose we pick few people with diabetes who are members of diabetic society also, so that will be a sample. So that is nothing but a subset of population. Now coming to variables. Now variable is very important terminology within statistics. So variable defines about each individual element within a data set. So here there are two types of variable. One is dependent variable, the other one is independent variable. So dependent variables are those which are tested and measured within a scientific experiment. So the variables which can be tested or measured, like which are actually tested or measured within a scientific experiment, are called as dependent variable. So dependent variable are also called as targets. Okay, those are also called as target in machine learning. So those are the variables which we are trying to target. So those are the variables which we are trying to measure or experiment. So that is our dependent variable. And independent variables are those variables which can be changed or controlled in a scientific experiment to test the effects on the dependent variable. So independent variable are those which can be changed or controlled within the experiment. So we can change the independent variables to test the effect on dependent. So dependent variable is always dependent on the other factors, and those factors are nothing but independent factors. So here when we have any data set, we'll have both the variables, so dependent as well as independent. For some data set we might not be having dependent variables. That will be like in machine learning we have unsupervised learning and all, where our data will not be labeled like that. This term will again come into that. But here basically we can say there are two types of variable. One is dependent and the other one is independent. So dependent is the target variable which we are trying to test, and independent are the variables which we are using to test the dependent variable. To take one example, suppose we have to study like if a person is diabetic or not. Suppose we have to study if a person is diabetic or not. So here we have got a data set. Suppose we have got a data set. In this data set we have various features like saying persons like the patient's age, patient's gender, patient's body mass index, patient's blood pressure, patient's glucose level. So like that various things are there within this data set, and then we have something called as outcome. So we have all these values. So now here outcome will tell us if that patient is diabetic or not. So it will tell us either 1 means diabetic, 0 means non-diabetic. We can just label it like this. And the other things what we have here with respect to the patient, saying what is the age, what is the gender, what is the body mass index, what is the blood pressure, what is the glucose level. So now here outcome is telling us if a patient is diabetic or not. And suppose we have to analyze and we have to study if a patient is diabetic or not. So here we are trying to target the outcome. So we are trying to analyze if someone is a diabetic or not. So this outcome is nothing but dependent variable. So we can call this outcome as dependent variable because we are trying to study this data. We are targeting this data. And this outcome is dependent on all the other factors. So like we can take age, gender, BMI, blood pressure and glucose to study the effects on diabetes. So here basically these all things are nothing but these are all independent features, or we can say independent variables. These are all independent variables. Age is one independent variable, gender is one independent variable, like that. These are all independent variable. So here this is how we can figure out dependent and independent variable. Based on the problem statement, also dependent and independent variables can change. Okay, like feature wise it can change. So independent variables are also called as predictors or feature vectors. Those are also called as predictors or feature vectors. Dependent variable is also called as target. So now to take a few more examples with respect to these variables. Like suppose there is one experiment. Within this, a tutor asked 100 students to complete a math test. So the tutor wants to know why some students perform better than others. So she thinks that it might be because of two reasons. One is some students are spending more time in revising for their test, and the other one is some students are naturally more intelligent than others. So now as the tutor decides, tutor decides to investigate the effect of revision time and intelligence on the test performance of 100 students. Now here teacher wants to find out like how this revision time and intelligence is affecting the marks of students. So here we can say independent variable is nothing but revision time and the intelligence. We can measure the intelligence with IQ score, and revision time we can measure it in hours, and dependent variable will be the marks, that is the test mark, because tutor wants to find out why some students are better than others, and how the tutor can find out why someone is better than other by looking at the mark. That is, here tutor wants to investigate the effect of revision time and intelligence to test the performance of students, so that performance can be measured with the mark. So that is our dependent variable, and independent variables are revision time and intelligence. Similarly, there is one more experiment, that is you want to see which type of fertilizer helps plant grow fastest. So you add a different brand of fertilizer to each plant and see how tall they are growing. So now here we are targeting how tall a plant is growing. So we have to see the effect of fertilizer on plants. So here basically dependent variable will be the plant height, through which we can know if a plant has grown or not. And the other one is independent variable, that is nothing but type of fertilizer given to the plant. So this is how, like when we have a problem statement, we have to first figure out if the problem statement, like within the problem statement, what might be the dependent variable, like what we are going to study, and how do we study that dependent variable. So what are the factors which we can use to study that dependent variable? That will be independent variable. So sometimes what happens, like we will get a data set in which all the variables will be already there. So in that thing, we just have to figure out, okay, which one is dependent or not. But sometimes also what happens, we will just be having a problem statement. So in that, we have to understand the problem statement much clearly. Then we can collect the data as per the problem statement, and we can just figure out which one is dependent, which we are trying to target, or which we are trying to analyze, and what are the other factors which might be responsible to analyze that fact and analyze that dependent variable. Those are independent variables. So now here, if we look more into variables, variables can also be categorized with respect to data. So suppose we have a data, and sometimes data might be, or features, you can also say the features within the data might be categorical in nature or might be numerical in nature. So again, it can be categorized into multiple types. That is either dependent or independent variable, can be categorical or else can be numerical. So if it is categorical, we also call it as qualitative data. If it is numerical, we can also call it as quantitative data. So qualitative data. So qualitative data is nothing but which defines the quality of the data. So those are nothing but categorical data. Categorical data usually will be predetermined set of values, and quantitative data are like continuous data or discrete values also. Okay, which can be quantitative data. So now here within qualitative data, we have again three types of qualitative data, that is nominal, ordinal and binary. So nominal nominal categories or ordinal categories or binary categories. We can say three types of category. So nominal are those variables with no inherent order or ranking sequence. So when we have more than two values or variables within a data which cannot be ranked, which cannot be ordered, then we can call it as nominal. To take few examples, like we can say race, we can say nominal is nothing but we can say type of house. To take one more example, type of house. So house can be a bungalow, can be an apartment, can be a condo, can be a flat. So we don't know how to order it, which comes first, which comes next. We cannot order it. So here basically, like if we understand, okay, how to order, that's a different scenario. But initially, we can just say, okay, different types of house. So this is called as nominal category. So nominal categories are those category which cannot be ordered, which doesn't have a sequence or ranking. Ordinal categories are those which can be ordered, so which can follow some sequence, which has some ranking, like blood groups, like we can also say performance within a test. We can also take some other example like reviews, movie reviews and all. Okay, like 1 star to 5 star, we can say 1 star is the lowest, 5 star is the highest. So like that we can rank it. So those will be ordinal categories. The other one is binary. Binary categories will only be having two outcomes. That is only two options, either yes, no, true, false, like that, pass, fail. Like as we took an example, like if someone is having diabetes or not, so diabetic or not. So that's what two outcomes with it. That is also binary. So any categorical data where we have only two outcomes is binary. Any categorical data where we can have more than two outcomes and which cannot be ordered or sequenced, that is nominal category, and ordinal are those category which can be ranked or ordered. The other one coming to numerical categories or numerical variables. Sorry, not numerical categories, numerical variables. Numerical variable can be called as it is also called as quantitative. So we can just measure it. So it's a quantitative value. So here basically numericals are quantitative in nature. And within this numerical variables, we have two types. One is discrete, the other one is continuous. Now, discrete variables are also known as attribute data. So these are like discrete data is information that can be categorized into a classification. So discrete data is based on counts. So it will have a finite number of values within it. So basically taking an example, number of parts damaged in a shipment. So we can say, okay, suppose 5 parts are damaged in a shipment, so we already know the count is 5. So we can easily get the count of those values. So that is a discrete variable. The other one is continuous variable. So continuous data is information that can be measured on a continuum or scale. So continuous data can have almost any numeric value and can be meaningfully subdivided into finer and finer increments, like length of something, size of something, width of something. So these are all continuous variables. So what we understood here, types of variables with respect to data, we have two types of variables, that is categorical and numerical. Again, like categorical can also be called as qualitative, while numerical variables are called as quantitative. And within categorical, we can divide it into three types of categorical variable: nominal, ordinal, and binary. And within numerical or quantitative, we can divide it into two types, that is discrete or continuous. So now looking into types of statistics. So statistics is basically of two types. So these are two important areas or field of study in statistics. That is, one is descriptive, the other one is inferential. These are the two major areas or types of statistics. Now descriptive statistics helps in describing the data. So it provides summary of the data numerically or graphically. So using descriptive statistics, we can summarize the data or we can describe the data. So it's like plotting the data in graphs in a pictorial format, or numerically understanding the meaning behind the data by using different measures which is there in descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics talks about describing the data. And the other one is inferential statistics. So inferential statistics involves calculations that allows us to infer trends about a larger population based on a study of a sample taken from it. So inferential statistics is concerned with making predictions or inferences by doing sampling. Or like sampling is nothing but by taking few sample data, and working on top of that by doing some calculations and inferring some information about the data. It's like digging deeper into the data and finding out more insights from the data. So that is our inferential statistics. So these are the two major areas of statistics. One is descriptive, the other one is inferential. So now this descriptive and inferential statistics has got different methods using which we can analyze and we can study the data. So two types of methods. So descriptive statistics has got descriptive methods, inferential statistics has got inferential methods. So within descriptive methods, like we can say there are there are three types: univariate, bivariate, and multivariate. So if the data is univariate means single variable, bivariate means two variables, and multivariate means more than two variables. So suppose we are trying to study a single variable. So we can study the shape of that variable data. We can study the center. We can study this spread, how the data is spread, and we can study the relative position of the data within univariate data. If the variable is bivariate, we can study the correlation, that is we will be having two variables, we can understand how two variables are correlated. We can also do regression on top of that. If the data is multivariate, we can do multiple regression on top of the variable. So if we are selecting multiple variables, that is more than two variables, we can do regression on top of the data. So that will be a multiple regression. So to look into descriptive statistics, actually descriptive statistics, all these methods will help us out to understand or describe the data. And the next one is inferential statistics. Inferential statistical methods are like central limit theorem, binomial theorem, hypothesis, and significance testing to figure out the importance of variables, the normal distribution, then applied to mean calculations like t-test. These are all different types of hypothesis testing, or ANOVA, analysis of variance. So all this falls under inferential statistics or inferential methods. So these are basic two types of statistical methods which is there. So this is all about this session. Thank you for attending.